Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. This is the White Feather Tarot, and in today's reading we're doing, does this person that you have in your mind have any regrets? And to do this reading we'll be using different divination tools, but let's first pick out our piles together. So for pile number 1 we have the first pile. For pile number 2, and I see this as pile number 3. Now we can start saying for pile number 1. So for pile number 1 we have sword. Interesting. This came for pile number 1 in last week's videos. Oh well. For pile number 2 we have mirror. And for pile number 3 we have crone. So take a look at which one of these piles you're the most drawn to, and that's probably the pile for your person. But if you have different people in mind, then you can pick different people with different piles. As usual, you'll find the timestamps down in the description box. Click on your times and I'll see you in your readings. I'll leave these for a little while if you want to take a look at the piles and think about different people. Hi, pile number 1. So you've chosen the sword. And for today's reading, we're having a coherent, complete reading. So let's see what your cubes have and what your tarot cards have, as well as your oracle card. So I'm going to shuffle these away from camera so that it doesn't hurt your ears. All right, I'll organize them in this glass container and come back. All right, so I'll keep it here so that you can see it as well with me. Now I'm going to pick up your tarot cards and see what this is all about and whether they have any regrets at all or not. So how are we going to do this? Yeah. All right. So does pile number 1's person have any regrets at all, please? Okay. Does pile number 1's person have any regrets? I'm going to keep 3 cards here. So you have 9 of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, and Harvest of Thunder, which is the King of Swords. Interesting. You have a lot of swords, and yes, this is starting to get very clear. Okay, you have the Lovers, you have the Hanging Woman, which is the Hanged Man, you have the Seed of Wands, which is the Page of Wands, the Fool, Six of Cups. Wow, your cards are really good, pile number 1. You have the Hierophant under the Wheel of Fortune. Wow, now this is very clear. And you have the Seed of Cups, which is the Page of Cups. I mean, pile number 1, it really does look like your person for sure has a lot of regrets, did revise their actions, and perhaps with the Wheel of Fortune and all the pages and the Fool in your cup, looks like they have really learned their lesson. They saw the truth. It burned them feeling the truth. They started seeing things from a different perspective, obviously with the Lovers as well popping up in your reading, as well as the Six of Cups. There seems to be a lot of reminiscing over your connection during the times where they're alone. The Nine of Wands, as you can see links in the hiding. And you may not really see that they're watching you or seeing you or perhaps even thinking about you. But with the Nine of Wands, you do see that they had the courage to think about it with truth, with mental balance. With mental balance here, I mean that they had the audacity or the courage to think about things from a perspective of they may have been wrong with you. They may have wronged you, pile number one. And it seems like this distance maybe, or whatever they've been through, has taught them a great lesson from whatever they did. Because what I see here as details to your story is that it looks like this person wasn't sure about something, was hesitant, maybe gave you promises and did not fulfill them, and put the blame sometimes on you, and it surprised you how they did that. They hid maybe evidence. There was a lot of blame and wrongdoing in terms of especially how they communicated with you, with all the swords here, pile number one. But your reading really does show that there is a new beginning with this person because of a lot of things. First, it seems like they had to think of things from a different perspective because you really mean a lot to this person, whether you're aware of that or not. You also have the Seat of Cups here, which is the Page of Cups. Now, you seem to have an otter here. And if you really Google otters, it's so sweet. They're loving towards each other. You know, when they sleep, they hold hands so that they don't drift away from each other. Isn't that so cute? And ultimately, pile number one, it doesn't seem like this person wants to drift away from you. Your past together, your connection means a lot to them. And this is why you have the Fool in conjunction to the Page of Wands. It seems like they are considering maybe reaching out or starting a new beginning, even though it may seem scary now or not obvious to you, because of this shift in perspective that they had. They can see that you've been sacrificed in this connection where they sometimes weren't sure, where sometimes they were nice, other times they would drop you. Perhaps there's a lot of dropping going on. They would sometimes as well promise to change and then they wouldn't. There's all sorts of games when it came to their communication and their word with you, pile number one. You see here with the sword that the truth, thinking with the truth, has given him a lot of aspiration towards your connection. You do feel that this person's emotions and pain has led them to thinking with honesty and with truth, where they considered things in a balanced way. Because you have here the King of Thunder with the moose, and you can really see it. With the King of Swords, the air element here, so with the King of Swords especially, you have the epitome of the air element. Someone who has conquered the mind is able to articulate things with highest principles. Someone who's just, you know, because the moose reminds us of the power of integrity, reason, and that's why it's depicted as the harvest of thunder in your reading or in this deck. So at this stage, you have someone who's thinking, what would life be like if we were clear and direct with our thoughts? You know, and that's in conjunction to the Seeds of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. And this type of thinking has been changing the energy in this connection. How can we help others, and how can we have better connections if we had keen awareness of what was right and wrong? What can communication or astute communication help in this connection, in this moment that this person's in? It's like this person's mind and this person's internal honesty, it has become this ethical moderator between the both of you. Pile number one. So overall, yes, there was a lot of playing games in the past, but I do see that this person had a stop with themselves, has learned. Perhaps maybe you walked away. There was a change in situation here that made them reflect and think honestly, because you matter to them. And it's this this pain and these emotions push this person to think of things honestly, and that shows a lot of dearness. Pile number one. So will this person continue to move with this thinking process? I would say yes, I think so. From this person standing up for what's right or wrong, but not necessarily pile number one. I think you have to be the judge of that moving forward. Do you see that this person is being consistent with their word after they've regretted it and thought about it? Or do they only regret it when you're not around? Pile number one. This is something that you may need to explore, but at the moment, to answer your main question, does this person have any regrets? Yes, they're full of regret, pile number one, but you just may not be able to see it. You have a lot of dear cards in your reading, pile number one, because we're taking a look at the connection here. You have the Page of Cups, you have the beautiful Six of Cups, and you have the Lovers, of course, even in your cubes. Pile number one. At the center of your cubes, you have a beautiful connection here. So at least that's the energy of this person, them feeling like they want to reconnect with you. And it was the push for them to really think about things from afar and to change their minds and their point of view about how they could have treated you, especially that with your cubes here, I do not see directness, which is the opposite of this energy at the moment. But in the past, I see a lot of hesitation, a lot of going back and forth, a lot of not being consistent with their word, a lot of blame, a lot of promises that were not kept, pile number one. So at the moment, this is changing. This person has learned a lot and is seeing what they've done, because in the past they may have given excuses to themselves. They might have always had a reason for what they did, always focused on what you were doing and rather than what they were doing to cause this, and it caused a lot of frustration for you. And it looks like at some point you left, pile number one, or you've done something big that stunned them, and you leaving them behind like that. You do see a lot of animals being left behind, curling up, being left behind, and it's that time where they had to curl up and genuinely think about their actions and how they could have caused pain and hurt to you, pile number one. As opposed to their energy there, pile number one, a tired dragon, a big harvest of thunder here, the moose, a big moose, a careful lynx, you know, this adult energy here. I see this person missing fun. You have a lot of young energy as opposed in this row as opposed to this row. You have the Seed of Cups here, and then you have the Fool, and you have the Seed of Wands. A lot of fun energy, and you see that this person with the Altar here specifically, and of course the Seed of Wands, you have a lot of young energy that this person feels, a lot of fun energy with you. Revival of this beautiful energy. You have the Seed of Wands here, which is the Page of Wands again, represented as a spotted seal, you know, ready to lead the way, wants to play, wants to jump in wholeheartedly, has been waiting to take the plunge, but fearlessly, maybe finding the right moment to do that, but at least that's what this person wants to do. Definitely a learned lesson in the way, and reminiscing over this dear connection. Pile number 1. And I specifically love pile number 1, the Hanging Woman or the Hanged Man in this deck, because you do see someone who's upside down, but you feel like they're actually having fun doing it. And this really confirms to me the question that I was asking in the middle of the reading. Yes, you should use your discernment, of course, but I do see that it's a lesson that someone has enjoyed learning. It's not a lesson that they've learned just to get in touch with you and to reconnect. I think this person is learning the value of honesty, of being clear, of having integrity. They really understood the value of it, and they're excited about starting a new beginning with this new understanding with you, and to enjoy implementing what they've learned with you. I really hope they continue with this new joyful understanding, and that if you decide to maybe reconnect with them, this is your choice, pile number 1, that you re-enjoy this connection again. Always look out and see what they have to say and what they've learned before you take a plunge into this new beginning, if you want it. Pile number 1. So pile number 1, that was your beautiful reading. I've enjoyed getting into the energy of this thinking process of your person. And if you've enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. Don't forget to click on your notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. So you've chosen the Mirror with Perception here. It's a really interesting card, but I'm not going to start reading except when we have a more coherent reading to answer, your question, if this person has any regrets towards you. So like I mentioned, we'll be using different divination tools, and I'm going to shuffle these behind the camera so that it doesn't hurt your ears. All right. Let me organize this and come back. Okay. Let's put this here. And just like I did with pile number 1, I'm going to have a few cards here to give me a clue about the current situation, what they're going through, and then more clarification cards on the bottom. Okay, so now let's take a look at your tarot cards. I can already see a lot of things, but let's see. Does pile number 2's person regret anything? Let's go one more time. Does pile number 2's person regret anything? Whoa. Well, I think your reading is ready. I think also this one wanted to come out, as well as this one, as well as this one, and this one. So we're gonna keep it here, shuffled and ready, in case we need any more cards. So you have the 6 of Wands, a lot of oranges, a lot of eagles and dragons, a lot of ego for sure. You have the 8 of Thunder, which is the 8 of Swords. Yes, that's the same energy here. You have, ooh, you have the Queen of Cups. You have the Nine of Wands. Interesting, this popped up in pile number 1's reading. You have the Seven of Wands. Oh, so much fire energy. Lots of ego. A lot of ego in your reading. Pile number 2. Okay. You have the Page of Cups. That also popped up in pile number 1. Interesting. Okay, you have the Ten of Pentacles. You have the Eight of Wands. So many wands and fire in your reading. You have Strength right under the Eight of Thunder here. Ooh. Yeah. You have the Root of Thunder, which is the Page of Swords, and that is under the Queen of Cups. So pile number 1, let's take a look at this person's past energy quickly here. It looks like this person has a lot of ego. They've been changing with this pencil here. It looks like they've been changing the narrative to everything in the past, making it fit what they want. And because they lied a lot to themselves, to the point where they couldn't really even discern between what was right and what was wrong anymore, what was the truth and what were the lies. They couldn't make up the difference anymore. And that's why they have a lot of stuck energy. Their egos really prevents them from taking a good hard look in the mirror. Whatever action that you've taken, pile number 2 with the Six of Wands, it seems like it was victorious in at least making them have a hard look at themselves in the mirror. It's going to be very hard for this person to move or change, but we'll take a look as we're reading through your cards here. But at least we're taking a look at the stages that this person is going through. They still, even though they realize they've wronged you, but they still hide from themselves the extent of which they have done that. In fact, they think that they think of things like all the things, the wonderful things that they've done for you, how they were a good companion. They exaggerate the effort that they've done for you as well, is what I see. They see that they've been reaching out to you and you haven't been responding. They count meticulously all the things that they've done right, all the things they've helped you with, where they were right, and that's a lot of the main focus here that keeps them stuck. The problem is with this person, pile number 1, is that they want to see themselves in very high regards. They want to see themselves as loving and giving, which is really the embodiment of you. And this is why you have the mirror here. They want to reflect what they see in you, in themselves. And this is why they're stuck. They're stuck in their thought process. They're stuck in trying to explain what they've done, how they were right, without really putting the picture together of why they may have gotten the reactions that they got from you, and why you weren't perhaps responding to them trying to amend things and fix things, and only seeing what they've done for you and not taking a look, an honest look at what you have done for them, is creating an imbalance in the way that they're thinking. They try to cover it. They do remember very well what you've done for them, but they try to push the thought away, and they try to cover it up by giving bigger excuses of what they have done, and all the abundance that they've given you, even though it does look like it was very, what's the word? Misery. There's a lot of misery energy coming from them. Pile number 2. So let's take a look at the main question here. Do they regret anything? Now I'm going to tell you this, pile number 1, with all the fire here. It's not that they regret, really. They're not at the point where they're regretting things, but they do feel the pain of perhaps the separation. They feel the pain of something, of the loss of this connection, even if you're still there, or the pain of you not seeing them in the same way as well. Or perhaps you moved away, you're in hiding. You blocked them, maybe. You moved away from this energy, and yes, that is causing a lot of pain because it seems like they were benefiting a lot from your connection. Pile number 2. Second of all, their ego is hurting them because you moving away here forced them to take a look at themselves in the mirror, and I don't think they like doing that. And that is one of their biggest pains here. So unfortunately, with your pile number 2, the regret here is not really the loss over you, as much as it's the regret of what they've been taking from this connection, and the regret and the pain of their hurt ego, of having to unfortunately have a look at thoughts like how bad they are, or how bad other people see them, or it's like a reminder of the actions that they know were bad but weren't looking at, and now it's coming up to haunt them. Pile number 2. This person is currently in a better place because it looks like they have been working hard internally in some other areas of their life. They have so much to go through and fix. And so they're focused at least on some areas that they're trying to fix. But when they remember you, it burns because it reminds them of their perception of their own selves that they hate looking at, but they haven't fixed yet. They do not, unfortunately, fully regret what they've done because they haven't fully had a hard look at themselves. But, like I will keep repeating, you remind them of that ugly part that they hide in the shadows. Every time they remember you, it burns. It burns because they remember the part of themselves that they wish to forget. Pile number 2. They're not very proud of it, and they don't want to label themselves with it either. This person's ego hurt them a lot, and I see a lot of speaking behind your back and trying to tell people passionately of how bad you were, changing the narrative completely. If you heard what they were saying, it would flabbergast you. But they internally know it's not the truth, and that's what causes them even more pain. Because them changing the narrative to this extent is the only way they can relieve all this pain about themselves that they're going through. And it seems like they're talking to other people that you may not know, pile number 2, in the first place. But it's a way for them to relieve this pain about themselves. And only when they take the mask off and take a good look in the mirror will they really realize that it is them all along that needs to get fixed so that they don't feel the pain anymore. It's not about what you did. pile number 1. It's about who they are and only changing themselves to the better, and not getting instant gratification from silly things, but being a better person is the only way they can relieve themselves from this pain. So with the Page of Swords here and the Queen of Cups, I see a strong message here. This person, if they want to reach that ultimate balance and healing that they desperately need to see themselves in the regard that they want to see themselves with, they have to take a good look at themselves and speak to themselves honestly. They have to understand that to be seen as compassionate, they have to be compassionate. Pile number 2. It's being courageous, seeking the truth, and deciding to change ourselves from the inside rather than from the outside and how other people see us. That will bring real balance and real peace in our lives that this person is looking for. And as long as they're thinking with their egos and not their minds, this is why they have a lot of wands here, they will not find peace, the peace that they're looking for at the moment. I see here again with this combination, this Queen of Cups and the Page of Swords, a warning against being too confident or too outspoken, that it may be a good time to check in with our connection with the truth and the energy output that they put out. How are their connections like? What type of energy are they putting out with the ones that love them? Are they living and expressing their whole truth? Or are they in hiding? Are they being compassionate and considerate to others? These are the sort of thoughts that they need to go through to have that internal balance that they really want and to be seen in high regards as they truly wish to be seen. And they need to deal with turbulences in life without all this flare-up. Just like the albatross here, when there is wind currents, they don't flap their wings, they glide with ease. And it's a time during currents to get in touch with our internal strength and do the work of seeing where we've been wrong, how we've wronged ourselves and how we've wronged others, by seeing the whole truth. Only then will we have internal balance and internal peace. That's the message for this person. So until they reach then, they will not regret this pile number 2. They will only be seeing things from their egoistical sides, burning every time they remember your actions, what you've done, how you hurt them, because it reminds them of this part of themselves that they do not want to see. Pile number 3. So pile number 2. Apologies about that. So pile number 2, that was your reading. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. Don't forget to click on your notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. So you've chosen the Crone with release here. This talks about wisdom, but I'm not going to jump into conclusions, and we're going to do like the rest of the 2 piles. We're going to have a coherent reading with our story cubes and our tarot, and together with these divination tools, we're going to find out exactly how this person feels and what they're going through, and if they feel any regrets. So let me shuffle these behind the camera so that it doesn't hurt your ears. All right, let me organize this in this glass container and come back. All right, pile number 3, let's take this here. And now let's pick out your tarot cards. And just like the rest of just like the rest of the piles, we're going to use the first row right there with the 3 cards to get a deeper understanding on their current energies, how their thinking processes are, what they're going through. And then the second row here, we're going to have a more in-depth look at what they're planning to do, what they're thinking, more of a clarification on what's going on. So, does pile number 3's person have any regrets? Does pile number 3's person have any regrets? Okay, so the first 3 cards are already there. This one is shuffled. We'll keep it here. All right. So, pile number 3, you have the Root of Wands, which is the Page of Wands. Sorry, the Knight, I apologize, the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands, interesting. You have, again, just like pile number 2, in the same placement, the 8 of Swords. And I think this reading might be different. I don't know. We'll check now. And you have the Harvest of Stones, which is the Page of Pentacles. All right. Now let's take a look at your clarification cards. You have the 9 of Cups. Oh, okay, yeah. You have Judgment with the snake here. Interesting. Okay. You have the 10 of Cups. You have the 7 of Cups. You have the 5 of Swords, which is very interesting in this deck. You have the Hanging Woman, which is the Hangman. And last but not least, you have the 2 of Cups in conjunction to the King of Pentacles here. So just a quick note before we begin here. If you're coming here from pile number 2, you've heard pile number 2. This might be the future for the person you are inquiring about in pile number 2. Other than that, finish your reading pile number 2 with this person that you had in mind, and you may want to go back to listen to the other person for this pile. Anyways, let's go back to what I see here. I see that the person you're inquiring about, life has really humbled them, pile number 3. You do see them in the past with a lot of childish energy. You do see someone who was exaggerating their pain, someone who's built walls when it was necessary to protect themselves. And that could really mean punishing people when things didn't go their way. I see them in the past being very concerned about themselves selfishly and letting others drop. Again, the point of changing narratives, trying too hard to make things work their way. Inconsistencies, yeah, a lot of childish behavior, just behavior of really focusing and thinking about oneself. pile number 3. I do see as well trying to maybe bully you or try to take power over you is the exact word I'm looking for. In the past, you may have left this energy. But whatever the case is, this is a person who life has really humbled them, because it's not just about your experience. There's change of skin with the judgment here, and a rise from a certain way of doing things. Because it seems like with the 5 of Swords here and the Page of Wands, especially how it's depicted here, that this person started looking at things from a different perspective, where they have seen the true reality of things. They stopped going after the quick wins that they wanted, and they started really seeing what was important. And I think through the experiences, the bad experiences they've been through in life, it really humbled and grounded them, made them realize that being happy, internally happy, and having healthy connections is really the epitome of a beautiful life, rather than the things that they naively used to pick instead in the past. I see this person has really grown. You have the King of Pentacles here, someone who is grounded, is sane, does the right things. And now this seems like a person who not admires, who chooses reciprocation, values reciprocation, rather than having a quick win. This is the change in perspective that this person has gone through. And because of this integral change in perspective, learning about respect, stopping toxicity, stopping their need for quick wins, having a stop with themselves, raising their standards for themselves and others, I see their environment has changed. They are now dealing with different types of people. They're making better life decisions. And I do see them being much happier and much more proud of themselves than they used to be. Pile number 3. I do see, however, that there is the 8 of Swords in conjunction to the Hanging Woman. So it looks like something is hanging here that is still keeping them stuck. And this really shows me, since this is a reading about you, pile number 3, to answer your question, now that they've changed, do they regret what they've done with you? Yes, it's one of their main biggest regrets. Having seen life differently, now they're honest enough to have crystal clear vision of listening to the other side, having a good look back in retrospect to perhaps why you moved away, why you've done the things that you've done, why you put up a wall for them. And now they can see with their new developed values that they may have definitely caused a lot of pain to you, that they have acted in a controlling, maybe bullying way, unfair towards you, and they definitely regret it. I think they cringe a little bit thinking about it, and they feel like they're much better, healthier people. Whether they reconnect with you or not, they'll continue to be peaceful people, looking forward to change and having a beautiful, peaceful life. But you certainly stand out in their repertoire of experiences that they've had with wonderful people. It makes them stop when they think about you, what they've done to you, and it really, they regret it. Yes, they definitely regret it. Pile number 3. In fact, with the King of Pentacles in conjunction with the 2 of Cups, and it's 44-44 as we said that, you do see them wishing to go back to their younger selves, or the few years back, or to the past, and not lose this dear important connection here by reciprocating, and giving as well as taking, and reciprocating respect, all the earth elements, reciprocating respect, reciprocating love as well with the cups here, reciprocating help, reciprocating goodness in general, because now they've realized what is important and what are quick wins in comparison to having someone as special as you, to have a lifelong connection, a lifelong bond with. And now they're learning that there are bigger things in life that mean a lot more than silly things that you can get in the quick moment. And when they're over, what are you going to do with them anyway, right? I don't see them in this reading really reaching out. Maybe they're ashamed to reach out, but I do see them keeping a very close eye on you. Maybe they watch you on social media, maybe they watch your work, perhaps maybe they hear about you from other friends. They're keeping a close eye on you. They're wishing you good luck from afar. And yeah, they wish that you had contact, but now that they've revised their actions, they can't really reach out, because they know that you will not see them as the new version of them, and they're not really, and because they're in so much peace, they also don't want to at this point where they're fixing things, they don't really want to disturb the peace that they're in. And it seems like perhaps they've given you promises in the past that they did not keep, and now they know that you may not believe them. And so for the time being, they're just watching you from afar, thinking about you, regretting, of course, what they've done with you now that they've developed and grown. But I don't see them, at least with their current energy, planning to reach out. But instead, watching from afar. You constantly see here that this is a situation for them that seems too hot to handle. You see? You see someone who's avoiding fire. Does understand and realize they've done you wrong, but at the same time doesn't have at the moment the courage to reach out. It seems too intimidating, too big of a situation to go after. And hence the Eight of Thunder, the Eight of the Swords here, of kind of thinking that they're a little bit stuck when it comes to rekindling this connection with you. Pile number 3. Seems like to me that you've dropped them. They all dropped. That you've dropped them, pile number 3. And now the situation is very hard to fix from their point of view. Very, very hard. They see your strong side. They do see that you have a lot of self-worth and self-esteem. You value yourself highly. You put up this wall that is hard to reach. They understand now why you put this wall. And it's just a lot of hassle to try and fix from their point of view, at least. But they've certainly gained the wisdom from this situation. They certainly regret it and wish they had reciprocated and kept someone with high worth friendship, maybe, or connection like you. Pile number 3. But all in all, we do see that this person is in a much better place, much happier. I'm happy for them. you do see that this person has grown for sure. They've learned from their mistakes. They were burned from their past mistakes, from these quick wins, unnecessary quick wins, and now they don't want to touch the fire altogether, and they've learned to keep peace in their connections. So pile number 3, that was your reading. I wish you all the best of luck. You do seem like a mature, balanced person. I wish you all the best of luck in your future endeavor, and perhaps a lot of good wishes for you to reconnect if you want. So pile number 3, that was your reading. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. Don't forget to click on your notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye!